Good morning. All eyes were on Anchorage, Alaska, on Friday as U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin met for a high-stakes summit aimed at addressing the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The meeting, which took place at 3:30 p.m. local time, concluded after approximately 3 hours of direct talks between the two leaders. In a joint press conference that followed, both presidents described the discussions as productive, though they offered few specific details about a potential path forward. President Putin, speaking first, expressed his hope that the meeting would serve as a crucial starting point. He stated, "I expect that today's agreement will be the starting point not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back businesslike and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S." However, no immediate ceasefire was announced for the conflict, which has now stretched on for 3.5 years. President Trump emphasized that any resolution is still in the preliminary stages, telling reporters, "There's no deal until there's a deal." He confirmed that he would now consult with key allies, including NATO partners and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, before proceeding with any further steps. The choice of Anchorage as a neutral venue underscored the gravity of the talks. But for now, the international community is left waiting to see if this diplomatic opening will translate into a tangible de-escalation of the conflict. Meanwhile, in Washington, a major tech company is facing new scrutiny from lawmakers over the safety of its artificial intelligence products. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri has launched an investigation into Meta, the parent company of Facebook, following alarming reports about its AI chatbots. The probe centers on allegations that the company approved internal policies that permitted AI chatbots to engage in what were described as romantic and sensual exchanges with users, including children. Senator Hawley, who chairs the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism, is demanding to know whether Meta's products enabled the exploitation or deception of minors. The investigation will also examine whether the company misled the public or regulators about the safeguards it had in place. The controversy stems from a Reuters report that reviewed a 200-page internal Meta document titled Gen AI Content Risk Standards. According to the report, the guidelines allegedly permitted an AI chatbot to tell an 8-year-old that their body is a work of art, of which every inch is a masterpiece. In a letter to Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Hawley called the conduct outlined in the reports reprehensible and outrageous. A spokesperson for Meta confirmed to Fox News Digital that the document was real, but countered that it does not accurately reflect our policies. The spokesperson stated that Meta has clear rules prohibiting content that sexualizes children, and that the examples cited were erroneous and inconsistent with our policies, and have since been removed. Senator Hawley has given the company until September 19th to produce a trove of materials, including all versions of the content standards, internal risk reviews, and communications with regulators. Turning from federal oversight to state-level political maneuvering, a dramatic situation continues to develop in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott has called for an immediate second special session of the Texas legislature, set to begin just 2 hours after the first one officially failed. The initial 30-day special session collapsed after dozens of State House Democrats fled Texas for Washington, D.C. almost 2 weeks ago. Their departure left the House without a quorum, the minimum number of lawmakers needed to conduct official business, thereby preventing Republicans from advancing their legislative agenda. The primary point of contention is a Republican-backed plan for mid-decade redistricting, which involves redrawing the state's congressional districts. Democrats have argued that the proposed maps are a partisan power grab designed to dilute the voting power of minorities. In a press release announcing the second session, Governor Abbott sharply criticized the absent lawmakers. He stated, "Delinquent House Democrats ran away from their responsibility to pass crucial legislation to benefit the lives of Texans." The new session will once again place redistricting on the agenda, setting the stage for a continued standoff between the state's Republican leadership and the Democratic representatives who remain outside of Texas. In the federal court system, a significant Trump administration directive targeting diversity programs in education has been struck down. A federal judge in Maryland ruled on August 14th that an order from the U.S. Department of Education aimed at removing diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, programs at schools and universities is illegal. The directive was issued in a Dear Colleague letter sent to education departments in all 50 states this past February. The letter, signed by the Acting Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, criticized what it called overt and covert racial discrimination that it claimed was occurring under the banner of DEI policies. It warned that any educational institution failing to comply with the new anti-DEI directive could risk losing its federal funding. The ruling from the Maryland judge effectively invalidates that threat, blocking the administration's attempt to compel schools to dismantle their DEI initiatives. The decision marks a significant legal setback for the administration's policy on this front and a victory for institutions and advocates who argue that such programs are essential for fostering an inclusive educational environment for all students. And one final note from Washington, where another legal challenge is being mounted against the administration. The Attorney General for Washington, D.C. has filed a lawsuit against President Trump concerning the federal government's role in the district. The suit claims the president has exceeded his authority through what the Attorney General's office describes as a federal takeover of the district's affairs. We will continue to follow that story as more details about the lawsuit become available.